What's up, guys? Long-awaited Prox OS Explanation video. I've been getting a lot of questions on my Twitter about, what the hell's going on? Like, what is this OS, and why is it bad? And so many people are like, this is not really that bad for the game, but it's really bad for the game. Yeah, to say the least. So I definitely wanted to give an explanation of what it does, give a couple examples of it being a problem, and, just give you a general breakdown of how it works, why it works, how you can, fit your own stuff into it. So let's get right into that. First, I have an example recording from Fairy. So I'll just let you see it. And, what is this? Funny stuff, right? So all that really happens after I input the super is she guards, right? So it's pretty low commitment if I'm wrong. There's no real thing that's keeping me there. I'm free to tech throws and everything like that. So I have another recording to actually show a kind of more developed use of it. And before I get into explaining how it's done, I'll just show the examples for, how it ends up being used, right? So we've got 2 and 4A here, and it's slightly negative. I think it is -3. Maybe more so now in this version of the game. But it used to be -3. Anyway, so it's definitely negative. You can see Charlotta's blue here, right? And Fairy flickers her guard twice. So those are the 2 Prox OS points. And what the hell is Prox OS? You'll see. Right? Boom. If I try to take my turn, I get hit. So, that's not so bad. I know how Prox OS works. I'm just gonna delay my attack. She blocked. Okay. I'm just gonna take my turn a different way then. Okay. Huh? 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 So pretty much, just because the commitment for Prox OS is so short, it is just guarding for a couple frames, you can actually just OS and just do whatever else. You can even OS again, right? But that was not an OS. I didn't even press the guard button. But you can see the inputs, right? 2361, 2361, 2361, right? So it's pretty easy to do, and after you input the 236 input, you're free to go back to guard and just, you're safe. If you can do a move while holding down back and guard, you're very free to OS it as well, which is why the anti-air option select works that way. So if I jump and input this, wow, such OS, right? Such OS. Such OS! She is not vulnerable at any point during this, right? She's only guarding that entire time. So anything that comes from like projectiles from farther away or whatever, she'll guard, and only if something enters the prox range will she actually do the anti-air. So it's a very safe guess, right? If you know the timing that you want to anti-air with, you just do it. Oh, cool. That sure beats this, and then getting whiff punished, right? So it prevents you from getting whiff punished, but also it means that your guesses become very low commit, right? Imagine chunking someone for 50% because they decided to take their turn when Fairy is negative, right? So this instantly will change the dynamic of pressure to something where I have to delay to actually take my turn, which means that it gives Fairy the chance to press more buttons after she's negative and stuff like that. Or if I am plus, and I want to press a button here to retain my advantage, what if they just Prox OS there? Huh? So it changes a lot of risk reward for pressure and stuff like that, which is why it's kind of an issue, but let me just explain how it works real quick, and then you can kind of mess with it on your own and get really sad. So you can see here, I'm going to jump and then I'm going to guard when I hit the ground, and I'm holding down back, as you can see, from the virtual stick, and Fairy's animation isn't really changing, right? Even if I stand up in her grill, nothing's really changing. But if I load up an attack, during my startup, it actually puts Fairy into the pre-block frames. Right? So she assumes the position that the guard button would put her in without me pressing the guard button. Naturally, if I jump and press the guard button a bunch of times, you'll see her flicker it, but she does assume the guard stance. But because I'm holding down back while inputting the guard button, she doesn't flicker it before the attack comes out, huh? Why? It's because pre-block frames prevents guard button from doing anything, right? So this just never happens. She's just guarding already. So that's the first part. The second part is guard button has priority over other moves if done on the same frame, right? So here you see the H comes before the G, it still comes out, right? The G comes before the H, doesn't come out, right? Same frame, even, the guard takes priority. So naturally, we have guard priority over any buttons. That includes supers, right? So the super's not going to come out. So, So when we do our input for Prox OS Super, for example, we do 2361, right? So we do 2361 and then U, ability, and guard. So what this does is it puts us into the potential to check for pre-block frames, and then we press the button and boom, magic happens. It will automatically check if you're in pre-block frames, the guard button doesn't happen, no priority gets taken over your super, so your super comes out. Or whatever, if you input a DP and, you know, you can OS a DP that way too. It is any move that you can end in down back and press the guard button with, right? Which means anti-airs, for the most part, are going to be down and heavy. So you can OS down and heavy anti-airs so safely because you actually never get to release the down back input. You're guarding this entire time. It's crazy. You can get hit while you're buffering the 236, but if you're doing it during something like pressure, you can buffer during block stun and it's safe, right? So suddenly you have a safe guess of super after someone is plus on you. That's nutty. That's nutty. It totally undermines being advantage, being negative. It is way too strong offensively and defensively. And a lot of things are balanced around being, you know, negative or positive or safe on block, but slightly negative and stuff like that. And this really throws a lot of that out the window, which is why it is such a problem. It also means that your anti-air guesses become really safe. Sorry. Ow. Yeah, a lot of your anti-air guesses become really safe. A lot of your neutral guesses become really safe because you can just buffer this in neutral, you know? Like, ain't no thing. Like, you know, here, I want to super you. Oh. Huh? Huh? If you're too late on it or too early on it, you're more likely to block than not. If I'm wrong, I just flicker guard for a little bit. Hello? How is this not a problem? So you can use this in structure to change the dynamic of your pressure game or your defense game, which is part of why this is such a big problem. So this is what I was doing earlier in this recording. So now Charlotta has to delay her attacks. If I slightly delay, she guards, right? If I try to pursue frame advantage in other ways, you're free to OS over and over and over and over again. It's actually crazy. You can OS DP as many times as you can feasibly physically input it, right? So, yeah. Pretty interesting stuff, right? You can actually do this with just about any character. I could give you a couple of other examples. It's really good with Zeta. You can use her guard points. You can use it with anyone's supers because everyone has a universal input for super that way. So let's switch to Zeta, right? So here's another example that is very funny. Zeta has a really, really good super for it, but she also has her guard points, right? So I'll just show another example with a 2141 input, just to kind of clarify if anyone's still confused. So the general idea is you can OS any special because there is a buffer in which you can return to down back and still input the move, right? 2361. Oh, my bad. I thought it was Zeta. Here. Zeta, 2361. And I got my 236 move, right? But I ended in down back. So instantly that means I can actually Prox OS it. Awesome, guys. Great life. So for Zeta, what's more important is you want to Prox OS something like this. Right? So I did 214. Here, let's see. How is this useful? So I can actually do my normals and stuff like that. What? Crazy. So even if you're actually able to do the OS, and you kind of, you know, you mess up the timing or something like that, or you, whatever, you guard, you know? No harm done. You guard. This is honestly horrible. She's negative! She's negative, guys! If I'm out of prox range, it will not activate. But if I'm in prox range, I'll get some crazy input, whatever it is. Oh, I'm doing close normals. There you go. So far, yeah, my recording was for far A as a guard point. So clearly Zeta is, you know, able to do whatever, but if I don't press a button, she doesn't do anything. Nutty. Anyway, that's kind of like the core idea and application of Prox OS. I hope you kind of got a better idea of why it works and how it works and what you can do with it. It's mostly good with the reversals, guard point moves. Obviously, once you have 100 meter, it's turn time for every single character. Anyway, yeah. Hopefully to everyone who was like, it's not that bad, or this doesn't really affect the game. Can you imagine just like 2 fairies in neutral just churning? The first person to press a button in prox range activates the other person's super, right? So one thing to take note of is if moves are outside of prox range, they will not activate the option select, which is really nice for Fairy because most of her normals are outside of prox range. And you can also do it in the air. Air does trigger prox guard on anti-airs and stuff. So if you're Zeta, you can jump in and prox OS your anti-air super. So if they try to anti-air you, they get super. So you can even do stuff like that. It's great fun all around. I really don't know what else to say. I hope this gets patched immediately, but yeah, I'll see you guys around. Hopefully the next time I see you, it's patched. Sorry for breaking the game again.